with how calm and collected Furuta has been since we've seen him in the manga and shit like that, for him to get rattled by some mere words by Eto, yo... Eto yet again, she's in fucking prison, she's about to go down, and her words are still like weapons. She's still as sadistic as ever, and it's like, she's looking at probably, you know, immediate death. I mean, she's looking at guaranteed death. Immediately, they're gonna probably kill her, and she's still firing shots. Gotta love Eto. So this chapter brought forth yet again nothing but greatness. Let's talk about one of the big revelations, which has kind of been slowly hinted, but we got 100% confirmation. Furuta was the one that dropped the poles on Rize back in the very beginning of the manga. Is like, damn. And you gotta think, because everything that we know in this chapter, that he knew her since younger and shit like that. Well, first of all, he's a sadistic motherfucker. He has no allegiance. He's kind of like a bastard child based on what we found out in this chapter. It's like on some Game of Thrones shit, because he seemingly isn't the son of one of the Washu, or he is, but he's like a test tube. It's like a lot of interesting things came out of this chapter, but he from the very beginning has been around. So I'm expecting him to have a major role in either the ending of the manga, unless this is setting up for like that kind of second half deal where, you know, Kaneki's gonna go and become more aligned with the ghouls instead of being a part of the CCG like he's been throughout Re thus far. But he's gonna be a key player in either this upcoming war or in the remainder of the manga, whatever it may be, unless the manga is ending very, very soon, which it's been very fast paced with a lot of things going on at once. So it could, who knows, end in another 20 chapters. And I mean, this dude is like on some fucking Ichigo shit in the sense of he's part of the CCG, he's part of the clowns, he's part of the V organization. To a certain extent, he was part of Aogi Tree because he was working with Kano and shit like that. Like, this dude is pretty much a part of everything. He's so fucking maniacal, but you just gotta love that Eto managed to get even under the most calmest person's skin with just the words of, how does it feel that you can't call your father father? Like, I guess in a way that kind of showcases a lot more Furuta's character in a sense of like, yeah bro, you got some daddy issues. And if Eto truly knows who the One-Eyed King is, which she basically has said pretty much in a nutshell in this chapter that she does know, and Furuta and them are completely off the mark, it gotta make you wonder, well, how did Eto come upon this knowledge? Was it that her mother knew? Was it in her research she eventually found it? Is it just an assumption, a high assumption that she has? How would she know what all these people, the V organization, don't know? Like, all these people don't know this shit, so how does she know, unless she's gambling that the new person that she feels is going to be the One-Eyed King is who's the One-Eyed King? And then that quote, the king exists, in fact, in your bellies. Now, could it be that she means that the original king is the one that kind of spurred on all the other ghouls and shit like that? Maybe he's the one that basically was used as like a test subject to create ghouls, because it kind of seems as though a lot of these ghouls were made like artificially. Maybe Furuta was made between like a mixture of jizz and a test tube with like a bunch of other samples. So maybe that's what she meant. It could have been metaphoric, you know, it exists in your bellies because all of you are ghouls and you're all like loyal subjects or subjects of him. But it could mean that she meant DNA wise, because he's been the catalyst to everything as far as his DNA goes. Could mean that she was referring to Yoshimura, though no, Yoshimura being in captivity, he's only been in captivity for a while, so he would have had to been in captivity since the beginning of the series, even before Furuta was born, so X that out. We don't really know if it's metaphoric or not, but it's interesting that she said that, which Eto always throws a vague line or a vague saying, and there's so many different things you could take from it, but I think it could potentially be more so literal than figurative. And with her saying very soon the king will make an appearance, now, does she mean that we haven't seen the king thus far? Or could it be because, okay, let's just jump right into it. The candidates for king at this particular point, there's quite a few. I mean, there's Arima. People are under the assumption of him. I mean, he has to be more than just a human. I mean, first of all, he's a part of V, but then the way he took out Shachi and how strong he is, there has to be an explanation as to why he's so fucking good. It could be that he's the king. There's a lot of hints at him being it. There's also, based on this chapter and kind of all the mystery behind that, maybe Tatara is the king, because I mean, we see him sitting on a throne in this one, and he's so mysterious. I mean, he's involved with Kano in the lab, and we never really seen him go full on out, so maybe he could be the king. I don't know why he'd be a one-eyed, but yeah, he could potentially be the one-eyed king, and maybe he's masking around that he has two ghoul eyes. It could be Kaneki himself that she's referring to, but then again, would she actually ask him, hey, can you kill yourself, when she said, can you kill the one-eyed king? Like, could she be talking about, hey, can you just kill yourself? That'd be swell. And then one of the popular theories that everybody keeps on going on about is Hide. Maybe Hide is the One-Eyed King, all the mysteries, him getting the job with the CCG, oh, so many different things regarding Hide. Whenever Hide does show up, I'm expecting it's going to be something big. I don't know if it's going to be that he's the One-Eyed King, but he has some sort of pivotal role, and if it's some fucked up shit that he was luring Kaneki and he pretended to be his friend this entire time because he knew something special about Kaneki, Hide, I just can't wait to find out. I'm hoping more so, and it's fucked up, but I'm hoping more so he indeed was eaten back then at the end of Tokyo Ghoul. Kaneki ate him, and it's not that he's just this shiesty motherfucker. Because think about it, with all the trauma Kaneki already experienced, imagine him finding out that the one person in his life that he thought was truly his friend was just playing him. Like, that would really fuck him up even more, and he's been through enough tragedy. Can we just cut out some tragedy, please? And going back to the comment Eto made to Furuta regarding how does it feel to not be able to call your father, and the flashback with Rize and Furuta when they were younger, basically saying that they were both bred. Now, it could mean, again, a mixture of different things. It could be that they have some human DNA, or this is how a lot of the ghouls were created to begin with. Maybe there's some natural born ghouls, like they were born that way, but majority of them are created in test tubes, and that's why they have Kano involved. Finding out that they're bred, it could also explain a little bit as to why Rize is such a dangerous thing, and why she was special, and a lot of these different things. Maybe the organization members are naturally born ghouls, but the remainder are not, and that's why they want to get rid of them. And it's a good thing that Kaneki has that entire recording, so any information that he might not know, because I think Kaneki is playing possum really well. I think he knows a lot, if not way more than we even think, because like, he wasn't necessarily surprised by the things that he found out regarding Furuta. I doubt he even trusted Furuta. I guess in a way it probably hit him if he did find out right there that Furuta was the one that dropped the steel beams, because he's the one that was the catalyst in a sense to even more tragedy in his life. If that never would have happened and shit like that, well, I don't know, because Rize would have killed him if not. So I don't know, maybe he might be thinking at the same time he was a savior to him as well. It's kind of like weird, like, would you have rather died at the hands of Rize eating you, or would you ever rather went into this fucking nightmare of a twisted life that he's had since that day? And regarding this being his last job, what was that in regard to? It could be that he's planning after this particular point he's not going to be a part of the CCG, or the actions that he's about to take is going to be conceived as betrayal, or he is going to betray the CCG and he's not going to be able to work with them anymore. It could be more than that. It could mean that he's going to die after this. I highly doubt. I honestly think at this particular point we're going to have that separation just like we had in original Tokyo Ghoul, which is funny because we're around the same amount of chapters that basically like the part 2 of the original happened, where Kaneki went on his own and he had the white hair and shit like that. So maybe that's what they were referring to, his last job, because Eto knows. Eto is in the know about pretty much everything. I mean, if she knows something that the V organization and all these other motherfuckers like don't know, she knows a lot of things. So she's probably already aware that Kaneki is about to flip the script on the CCG, fuck everything up, and Coachella, like I keep calling it Coachella because that's what I don't know why I thought it was Coachella, but Coachella, like I don't know how to pronounce it, fuck it. And when she said come give me a knock, I'm wondering if that was just a subtle hint of like, yeah, I'm gonna help you and I'm gonna be transferred downstairs where it's gonna be a lot harder for me to help you, so you know, you could give me a knock, I'm gonna help you in your plan and shit like that. So it's almost as if at this particular point Eto and Kaneki are about to become allies, which is really fucking weird. And when Eto told him, okay, I want you, my request is to kill the one-eyed king, he said, I don't know what you mean. He hesitated right there, and notice that we didn't see his face. We saw the back of his head at first, and then when he responded, we saw his feet. It could be because they were hiding, because you know Kaneki's one trait that we'll know that he's lying immediately is if he's going like this with his chin. So it could be that's why Suishida purposely did not show us his face and his hands and stuff like that, because we would have immediately know, okay, Kaneki knows who the one-eyed king really is. And again, the mystery regarding Tatsura being built up, him sitting on the throne, could it be that that was just a throne that they had for Eto because they truly thought she was the one-eyed king? Like, there's a lot of more mystery regarding him, and I just can't wait till he gets his hands on Hoji. He's gonna wreck his shit back to the fucking Stone Age. Fucking Hoji gonna be with the Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones, like, yo, Tatsura's gonna go in. And then the ending. Amon, shall we begin? Like, I guess that's another theory. People are saying he's the one-eyed king. That's the least likely in my opinion regarding who could be the one-eyed king. I don't know. It's just, he was an inspector. There was never really any hints. I mean, he probably had a bunch of experiments done on him after the end of the original Tokyo Ghoul, but I don't know. I think he's just gonna be more so like a crusader, kind of like white-haired Kaneki in part 1 of Tokyo Ghoul. Like, I don't think he's the one-eyed king, but you never know. And with that being said, honestly, stupendous chapter Tokyo Ghoul yet again. 9.5 out of 10. It just keeps on building up suspense with giving slight answers and slight leads, only to leave you thinking, what the fuck is going on here? But let me know what you think about this. First of all, again, big fucking question that everybody's wondering, who's the one-eyed king? Is it Kaneki himself with Eto? I mean, I was gonna say, would Eto have the balls to ask him to kill himself, but come on, it's Eto. She don't give a fuck. Also, what do you think regarding the bred thing, about these people being bred? Is it that they're like test tubes, the ghouls? Is it that they're all stemming from the original one-eyed king himself? Was it an experiment that went wrong that made the ghouls to begin with? And your overall thoughts of the chapter. Insane Tokyo Ghoul chapter yet again. Kaneki at the end of that chapter though, yo. I mean, Shit is getting real, and it's happening now. With the war on Root Island beginning, first to note, the thing about Suzuya in this chapter, his character development is shining through. From the stuff that happened with Shinohara back in the day, it's clearly being displayed in this chapter because they said he's not killing everybody. He's not killing all the ghouls that come across him. And they even mentioned like, oh, this game that Suzuya is playing because they're getting pissed that he's sparing basically ghouls. He's just like, knocking them down or hurting them to a point of them being, not able to fight and shit like that. And that's definitely due to the fact of everything he learned, and I'm glad that that's still keeping intact. He's not being the radical nut job that he used to be. He's actually thinking. And you notice that Washu dude is putting a lot of chips on Uri. He is going to be very, very let down when he once again realizes the true nature of Uri and who he's become today. He's not the person that you want him to be. He's not this vicious motherfucker that doesn't give a shit. He has a heart, so it's gonna come to a point where the Washu guy's gonna get pissed off. Either Uri's gonna do something that he ain't gonna like or something. Like, I could see some bad blood being born after this war between the two of them. Ooh, and the spread of Team Uri there looking sick. Yo, Ishida, his drawing on this chapter, on fucking point. I loved it, and seeing that Uri is keeping his goal intact. His main focus right now isn't to eradicate Aogiri. Ain't none of that. It's, I need to rescue Mutsuki. And again, that's just like him feeling this way, having this goal of rescuing Mutsuki, and even what he said in the past couple chapters regarding Shirazu's sister or brother or whatever the fuck it is, like, saving them and whatnot. Like, it just shows how much Uri's changed, and I'm so glad. Like, that's how you really do some awesome character development, to turn a motherfucking fuckwad piece of shit into a really awesome human being that has like ghoul cells in him. But just think for a second, if Mutsuki's been there for a while now, like, how long has she been there? Like, days, a day, a couple, like, it's been at least, I'm guessing, like a day or two or a couple weeks at the most that she's been there, basically being tortured by Torso. So I'm wondering, the Mutsuki that we're gonna get back, is it gonna be the same person? Is she gonna come back, or is he gonna come back, whatever you want to call it, as the same, gentle being that we once knew? Or is she gonna come back and just be completely fucked in the head? Are we gonna get like white-haired Mutsuki after this from being tortured so much? Or because of the whole gender conflict that, she wants to live her life as a dude, but she's really, biologically a female, is she gonna come back and say basically, now, no, I want to be a female because like everything Torso did? Like, what is going to be her mindset? She's going to have a radical change after everything that she's been through with Torso. I mean, cutting off her fucking arms and shit like that, and her legs. Like, shit is about to be insane when Mutsuki comes back. With Eto being transferred in the middle of all that shit, like, either the invasion is going to happen immediately while that's going on, or just as she's getting in herself. I mean, the invasion already started, but we don't know how far along she got before like all this shit happened. So either she could break out right there, or she's gonna get put in her cell and then they're gonna come and take her out. Like, something there is gonna happen because she's still in the middle of walking down and they're transferring her, and I think Arima is walking the rest of the way with her. So anybody try to free her in the middle of Arima being there, they're getting their shit kicked in. And one of the parts that I've been dying to see since we found out that Kaneki was basically mind fucked in Tokyo Ghoul Re, I wanted to see what Arima did. How did he become who he is? And it honestly looks like mainly it was trauma. Like, when we seen in this flashback thingy of him like clawing his eyes out and going crazy, that wasn't that he still remembered. I think that those were the nightmares he was having of the memory surfacing. I think once he said it's time to go to sleep for now in Tokyo Ghoul, his memories already went. His memories were just gone and shit like that. When he was going crazy here was when the nightmares were bringing the memories to the surface and he couldn't, bear with it, and Arima basically taunting him. So you gotta think for a second. The injuries that he sustained, not to mention him clawing out his fucking eyes, then Arima basically putting his reason to live basically gone at that, even though he was, I'm guessing, in like a dream, like, just having nightmares and shit like that, and basically delusional at that point from going insane and shit like that. But his reason to live out the fucking window as well. And then being captured and imprisoned and shit like that. Like, yeah, his memories were gone pretty much when the nightmares finally stopped and he got up and shit like that. He had no idea who the hell he was. He lost his memory way before even being captured. When he got fucked by Arima and shit like that, that's where his memories went. And you gotta think for a second, why did Arima do what he did in this chapter? Well, in the past or whatever, why did he give him the books? Why, when he heard about him starving himself to death, did he come and try and stop him from doing so when he found out, yeah, he's gonna die if he keeps going this way? Was it that he felt sorry for him? Was it that he seen some of himself in there? Did he know more than we know that he knows, in a sense? Like, did he know, like, nah, this can't happen to this guy, I think he's something special, or he knew something about him? I mean, even going as far as to help him pick out a name, even though it's kind of weird, like, it makes so much sense, but at the same time, like, logically, if you look at it from like an English speaking sense, like Coffee and World. Coffee World is basically Heist, but it kind of makes sense. Like, he doesn't even remember shit, but still Coffee and World are the two ones that come to mind when he thinks of, like, yeah, I kind of like those, because that's still the Kaneki that was lingering in him before, you know, even he realized what the hell was going on. When he was still clueless as shit, it was still somewhere in him. And one of the big things right now with the end of this chapter and everything regarding Kaneki in this chapter is, what is he going to do at this point? Because he basically, when he's tortured there after closing the door and shit like that, it's very vague as to, okay, does he mean that this is time to go save Hinami? Or did he mean something else, that no, I gotta do my job and stop the ghouls? Because he said, it's alright, it's okay, I just need to do my job. Is this him referring to his last job? Because this is where it's all gonna go to shit. Like, that's definitely something. And to be honest with you, it looked as though in the end of this chapter, it was indeed Kaneki that actually flicked the alarm switch and was getting ready to go. And the reason probably he was in that frantic state at the end is because he realizes, okay, with me doing all this, first of all, everything that I've gained since I become Sasaki Heist, even though I wasn't completely happy, I'm gonna lose. He's gonna have to have this big fight with Arima. And I think most importantly, looking at the character in general, I think he's scared to fail again. When he went and he said, I'm gonna go rescue Yoshimura, I'm gonna stop all this shit, he failed. And I think that that's something that's psychologically in him right now, thinking like, I can't do that again. I cannot lose again. I cannot let Hinami die. I let a lot of people die. I let a lot of people down. I can't do it anymore. So I think that was a lot of why he was just tortured there towards the end of the chapter. And it had to be him as well, because you got to think, okay, he's, first of all, it looks like he's in the lower levels of the prison right there when he was cracking his fingers and shit like that. Ayato hadn't gotten in yet. He was with the card. He was getting ready to go when the alarm started setting off. So it's either Amon is already in there, or Kaneki did it and he's getting ready to go in and he's getting ready to take out anybody that gets in his way. Because you think about it, if Kaneki can free Eto, him and Eto, I think if they teamed up, they would destroy Arima. That's just me. I think Eto and him together could take out Arima. And I know that's a stretch because Arima's this fucking death god that, like, he can pretty much fucking smack his balls at you and fucking kill you and shit like that. But I definitely think that if they teamed up, they could pretty much fuck everything up and free everything. Like, imagine if all the ghouls that are held in Coachella, whatever, are freed. It's gonna be chaos and they will definitely get away and they will fuck a lot of people up. And it was mentioned that gates 0 and 1 were open. Who are in 0 and 1? What gate was Eto in? Like, was that already Eto's gate that was open after she just got put in there? Was that lower levels? Was that, like, who was gate 0 and 1? That's something that already we need to know. And just a quick note as well, it's a possibility the reason why he donned the glasses, Kaneki, was from him digging in his eyes so much, fucking up his eyes, the festering and shit like that. It made him like, okay, let me put some glasses on, because it actually did maybe permanent damage to his eyes, like they can't regenerate the way they used to, or it just became a habit. And with all that being said, yet again, phenomenal chapter. Tokyo Ghoul, like, I don't even know, the past 2-3 months, almost every chapter has been anywhere from an 8.5 upward to 9.5. Like, this chapter, honestly, 9.5 for it. It's just a fucking great chapter. Everything is so much. I can't wait to see if it's gonna really go down to, yet again, Kaneki versus Arima, and will he be able to take him out this time? And just so many different things. Like, is he referring to this being his last job, that he's leaving the CCG? Like, it's interesting because Kaneki with the blood hair, ever since he donned that, I thought that he was going down a dark and selfish path, but I think he just realized he needed to put on this facade to ultimately get where he needs to go. And I think after this point, if the manga doesn't end after this, I think we're going to see once again that Kaneki going on the Ghoul side of things and less of the CCG and more of Kaneki, like, dealing with the other side of the coin, so to speak. But then there's Amon too. So many key players in this. This is so fucking good, honestly. It's very entertaining and it's very high quality, and those are the two keys to making something absolutely amazing. And Tokyo Ghoul right now has both those keys. It's very fucking entertaining and exciting, and it's very, very high quality storytelling. Sui Ishida, you the man. Let me know what you guys think. First of all, who set off the alarm? Was it Kaneki himself, and that's why he's cracking the fingers, getting ready? I mean, we know shit's about to get brutal. Or was it Amon? Also, what do you think is going to go down in there? Do you think that we're going to see Kaneki versus Arima very soon, and he's going to free Eto, and maybe they're going to double team him? And your overall thoughts of everything I discussed in this chapter. Like, this was insane yet again. Like, Tokyo Ghoul right now feels like it's at the climax, and I think we still might have another year or two worth of Tokyo Ghoul to go, but don't quote me. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed anything about this review, make sure to drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.